Hello friends, this is Yan with you. And today I'm going to record a very useful video both for beginners and for those who still aren't making at least $1,000 a month from trading. In this video, I'll tell you how to open the perfect trade. If you're in the mood, you can give a like or leave a comment. Right now, videos are coming out on the channel every day. We're extending this challenge for the whole summer, and it's important for me to see your feedback so that I have more motivation to record new videos. And accordingly, if there's a lot of positive feedback, we'll extend this challenge for the entire summer. Let's get started. Today, guys, I'll give you 6 points you need to look at before you enter a trade. If you follow all these points, the success rate of your trades will definitely increase. Ideally, you should write down all these points in a notebook. And before you open the trade, check each point. Let's move on to the first point. And the first point is that we should open a trade in the direction of the trend. That is, if the trend is upward, then you should also enter a trade in the upward direction. And conversely, if the trend is downward, you enter a trade in the downward direction. Why is that? Look, I'll give an example of an uptrend. Here is our uptrend, and let's imagine that we open a trade for 1 minute. This range here lasts for 3 minutes, then there's a 1 minute correction, and so on. So we open a trade for 1 minute and get 3 wins. Then a correction happens and it closes with a loss. Again, we get 3 wins because we're opening trades in the direction of the trend. During the correction, we take 1 loss, and then again, we get 3 wins. And in this way, we end up with 9 wins and only 2 losses. That's actually pretty good. When I first started trading, I actually tried to catch these kinds of corrections instead. For example, during an uptrend, I would look for situations where I could trade downward. And in that case, at best, I would get, say, 5 wins and 5 losses. And if you trade without using any hedging, and take, for example, a regular currency pair that offers an 80% payout, it's clear that over the long run, you won't be able to make a profit trading this way. So the first thing we look at is the direction of the trend. Here, look, the local trend is upward. Let's go through all the currency pairs and see what we've got here. Here, for example, is a pretty good situation. Look, the local trend is upward. That is, the low points are rising over time. As for the high points, it's hard to say whether they're rising or not. But in any case, we should be moving toward this resistance zone. The next very important point is that we need to look for support and resistance zones. Again, if you don't have experience, you can watch videos on the channel, or you can simply use the indicator called Smart Money Concept by Lux Algo. It will help us by highlighting strong support and resistance zones. And before we move on to the third point, guys, be sure to subscribe to the Telegram channel. I post a lot of useful information on trading topics there. For example, in this case, we hold open trading sessions. And if you want to learn how to make money from trading and trade like a pro, click on the pinned message, join our team, and first of all, go through the training course that team members receive. There are 19 lessons here, homework assignments, and everything is designed so that you get the most important information that will allow you to make money from trading. There's also a really cool bot based on artificial intelligence. Team members get access to it as well, along with the opportunity to trade with us during trading sessions. So, guys, we've highlighted the first 2 points together. That is the trend direction and the indicator value, the trend direction, as well as support and resistance zones. The next point is the indicator values. Let's turn on the RSI indicator. It's called the relative strength index. And when it is in the oversold zone, in this situation, we will most often be looking for an entry to go up. And conversely, when it is in the overbought zone, we will look for an opportunity to trade downward. Also, since we are currently trading regular currency pairs, I decided to add another indicator called volume, which will also help us. So we reach the zone. If we see that the volumes start to increase actively, it means that the zone is likely to be broken through. In this case, we've reached the zone, the volumes are not increasing, and the RSI is closer to the oversold area. So in this situation, it's better to take an entry to go up. In theory, we could reach this area. That is, you need to keep in mind that you and I may overlap. The next point is patterns. I don't see any clear patterns here, but I do notice that the recent candles are quite strong, although they are not supported by volume. And this suggests that most likely this volume will be bought up now and we will continue moving in the direction of the trend. And the last point is expiration. So this pair is already open for us. Expiration refers to the time frame for which we enter the trade. Here you can open a position for 3 to 5 minutes. Let's go for 3 minutes right now, $100 up. Most likely an upward movement will start from the support zone now. Guys, I also wanted to mention that it's not necessary to wait for confirmation of absolutely every single point, because that happens quite rarely. When all 6 indicators signal to open an upward position, if you only act on such situations, you will certainly make good money and have a decent success rate, but you'll miss out on a huge number of other good opportunities that, based on expected value, can also help you earn. So is it better to open, say, 10 trades with a 70% success rate, or to open 100 trades with a 65% success rate? I think that this kind of approach is significantly better. You might spend a bit more time, but the final profit will be, roughly speaking, 3 times higher than if you just sit and wait for the moments when all 6 criteria are met. And again, guys, all these points do not mean that your trade will close in profit with 100% certainty, because there are, let's say, 30% of trades. Well, let's take even from 25 to 40% that we absolutely cannot influence in any way. And our main task is to look at the expected value and try to open as many good trades as possible. And accordingly, try not to open as many bad trades as possible. And in this format, the success rate over the long run will actually turn out to be quite good. So I hope that this particular trade will close in profit. And risk management and money management can also be included here. These are very important topics as well. That is, in this case, I'm spending $100 on the first trade. We are opening with 0.06% of the total capital. So the money management here is actually quite good. If the balance is lower, this rule can be slightly relaxed. And the upper limit you should look at is 1%. So if your balance is $100, $200, or $50, well, when it's $50, it's impossible to open a position with just 1%, but you should aim for the amount of your first trade to be less than 1%. And then when the market is bad, you might catch a real streak of losses, but there's nothing terrible about that, because during a good market, all of that gets covered, and then you end up earning several times more. You see, it's also unclear with this trade. We're stuck here around the zone, but again, if you look at the bigger picture, we should be moving higher. Our volumes, as you can see, are relatively unchanged. On the RSI indicator, something resembling a support zone is also starting to form locally, indicating the trend direction, so we should be moving higher. Here, you can safely open another ceiling, although I even think that it might not be necessary. You have 20 seconds left until the end of the trade, and at the moment, as you can see, our trade is closing at a loss. If it ends up being a loss, as I said, we'll hedge right here. There's nothing wrong with that. And if there's a second loss, we'll hedge a third time if needed, and that's also perfectly fine. Or we can go look for an opportunity on another currency pair. So right after the close, I'm opening 2 more trades, also for 3 minutes, going up. All right, the trades are open. If these trades close in profit, then the win rate will be 50%. But for these 2 trades, you and I will get $192 plus another $192. That comes out to $384 minus 300. Because the first trade was open for 100 and this one is for 200. The final profit will be $84, which is also quite good. At the current exchange rate, that's more than 6,000 rubles, about 6,500 rubles. And in any case, for such a short amount of time, I think that's very decent money. And as you can see, after we entered, we're breaking through. Here, you either wait until we reach this support zone, or maybe even open one more coverage trade, because these red candles are not supported by any significant volume. This, in turn, means that right now it would take relatively little money to buy back these candles and draw equally large green candles. So I'll probably open another coverage trade right here as well, but let's see what happens now. All right, let's just wait for the trade to finish and then we'll decide what to do next. So in terms of expiration time, there were absolutely no mistakes here either. The main thing is that they don't get sold off too quickly, because as you can see, it's pretty volatile right now. During a market like this, it's actually better to increase the expiration time. Overall, with this kind of expiration time, they should close in profit. And most importantly, guys, don't worry. If things go against you, sometimes you can get 2 losses in a row, 3 losses in a row, even 4 losses in a row. There's absolutely nothing to worry about in the long run, because here we make our profit over the distance. There might be a bad day or even 2 or 3 bad days, but over the long run, if you make the right moves and open good trades, all of that will be offset and everything will work out for you. Just like in my case, you can check out my videos. Of course, I haven't withdrawn in quite a while, but my balance keeps growing every week, every month. See, in the second situation, we also close with a small loss of a few points. Let's open another trade here for $600. That's it, the last 2-minute closure. If this trade closes at a loss, then we'll move on and analyze the next currency pair together. And there, we really need to look for a good setup. And let's probably open a trade there for 2,000. I want to earn a bit more because the market is actually pretty good today. But that's only if this trade closes at a loss. We'll go straight away to analyze the next situation together. All right, guys, let's wait for the trade to finish. Look, we opened the trade for $600. Again, if it closes in profit, we'll cover all the losses from previous trades and make a pretty good profit on top of that. Even though the final win rate will be 33.3%, because our main goal isn't even the win rate. Our main goal essentially is to predict the price movement. In other words, we predicted that it would go higher. That's great. So it means we can open a position. There was even some indicator, I think it was called Vanga or something like that. I don't remember exactly. Maybe I'll make a video about it too. Yeah, I probably removed it too from... It actually drew right on TradingView where the price was most likely to go. Maybe we'll try trading with it too. I think it could be pretty interesting. No, after all, the bulls came in and started buying everything back. we're already above the area we initially predicted. And now, most likely, we're going to break through this resistance. Volumes. Well, it's hard to say they've increased, but they're still a bit higher than before. But for us, that's not very important anymore. So I really like that. Everything's great. We're closing in profit. A profit of 246 minus 900, because the first two trades were for 600 and 300 minus 900. So the final profit turned out to be 246, or right now that's about 20,000 rubles. In my opinion, that's pretty good considering the video is still over 10 minutes long. And overall, that's how trading actually goes. I hope, guys, that you've written down all these points in your trader's notebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the Telegram channel, and that we'll keep moving forward together, learning and earning. And everything will work out well for us.